What's good, YouTube? It's your man Rage King back with another one. Yes, another upload to the channel. And before we get started, I ask if you would please go down there, hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit that share button, and hit that bell for notifications if you're new. Welcome to Realm of Rage TV. This is how we do Rage and Rebels. Crown up. And if you're new to the crew, welcome to the Rage and Rebel Revolution. Now let's vibe. And y'all, as you see right here on your screen in today's video, Forbes magazine reports Bray Wyatt could debut for AEW soon, and talks of Braun Stroman having contract talks with Impact Wrestling. Now let's speak on it. Now, got this article here. We're gonna read. We're gonna react because it's just what we do over here. All right, let's get into it. Former WWE stars Bray Wyatt and Braun Stroman may have found their new homes, according to a report from the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter. Wyatt, real name Wyndham Rotunda, is likely headed to Impact Wrestling or AEW and could debut for the latter, meaning AEW, on the September 29th edition of AEW Dynamite, while Stroman, real name Adam Scherr, is in talks with Impact Wrestling about a possible deal with the company. Now, just reading that right there, I gotta say this. This is a win-win not only for, if it is to happen, this is not only a win-win for Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman, but it's a win also for either company they go to. Now, I know a lot of people sit there and hear AEW and be like, yeah, AEW this and AEW that, and I'm going to tell you why I think that it would probably be best if, I ain't going to say it's going to be best, but here's different ways they can go about it, right? Because there are so many different ways you can go about the situation. You can either, one, do the obvious thing, sign both of them, all right? Or, and just hear me out, knowing how AEW is in cahoots with pretty much everybody in the world right now, they haven't opened the forbidden door, they have pretty much kicked that bitch down. You understand what I'm saying? So with having New Japan Pro Wrestling coming over to AEW and already having Kenny Omega and Christian Cage being the Impact Wrestling champions while wrestling on AEW, why not? Or you could just also try this. You could have Impact Wrestling sign both of them. You could have Bray Wyatt become the leader of the Dark Order, which I think would be the best thing, and have them go dominate not only on Impact, but they could also dominate or make their presence felt at the very least at AEW as well, because they are in cahoots with both. You understand what I'm saying? Christian Cage is the Impact World Heavyweight Champion while also wrestling on AEW. You understand what I'm saying? So you could take that. You understand what I'm saying? You could have him join the Dark Order, and then we're going to wreak havoc over here on Impact and be world champion over here, take all the gold over here, and then challenge the Elite down the road. You understand what I'm saying? You for damn sure could have Adam Scherr, aka or FKA, Braun Strowman. You could have him go over to Impact Wrestling. You understand what I'm saying? And he can just be that dominant force that just runs through everybody. He could be their big monster that, you understand what I'm saying, that really can't be touched, and he could be the one to represent Impact when they decide they're going to have AEW versus Impact. I wouldn't mind seeing Braun Strowman take on Kenny Omega for some work, to see who's the better champion. I wouldn't mind seeing it. You understand what I'm saying? But that's just me. Let's read on. Wyatt and Stroman was surprisingly released by WWE earlier this year, despite being pushed as two of the company's biggest stars over the past several years. WWE's shocking decision to cut ties with Wyatt was reportedly due to budget cuts. Bullshit, I call it. And Stroman was also let go because of his massive salary, but also due to the internal belief that he was just 2 years past his peak. Wow. Now I get it. Braun Strowman didn't really start wrestling until he was 29. Didn't really debut for the company until he was about 31, 32. But keep in mind, I know people hear those numbers and think, man, he's old. Guys, men in particular, especially when you take care of yourself, though we do fall off a cliff from time to time. We do get slower as we age. That's just the fact of life. Men in particular, because we have this particular gene, we have this particular component in our body called testosterone. When you take care of yourself, you can be 40 years old and still feel like you're in your 20s. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, hell, look at The Rock. He's damn near, he halfway to 60, and look at him. He don't look a day older than 35. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of those guys on the WWE roster, hell, Bobby Lashley is 45 years old. You understand what I'm saying? When you take care of yourself, of course you're gonna get slower with time, but when you take care of yourself, you can be an age, but still feel younger than that when you take care of yourself. Now, I kind of get where they're coming from, saying that Braun Strowman was a little bit past his prime because he was getting slower, but that's not to say that he still did not have value. To sit here and say the same guy who just main evented your WrestleMania in 2020, not even a full 2 years ago, he's not worth a spot on the roster in a championship position. You're not going to tell me that. You're not going to tell me that because I'm not going to believe you. You want to know why? Because it's not true. It's simply not true. But that's my opinion. Moving on. WWE, of course, dropped the ball with both stars, thank you, on a number of occasions during their runs with the company. Stroman should have won his first world title when he was red hot in 2017. I agree. And the ideal time and place for that would have been at No Mercy that year when he faced Brock Lesnar. I agree. He should have beaten Brock Lesnar clean. Because at that point, I know a lot of people, he's going to beat, but that's not burying Brock Lesnar. They could have easily exchanged those titles 2 or 3 times as long as they kept the story mode going. And who didn't like seeing them 2 big old bulls locking horns? I know I did, because it's one of the few times 2 big men of that size could actually have a great match together. You understand what I'm saying? At least in my opinion, I thought it was a great match. Let's move on, because they've damn sure created some great moments. I mean, remember Brock Lesnar punching him in the ribs and then the side of the head when he kneed him in the face. So they've definitely created some moments, and I'd have definitely loved to see those bounce that championship back and forth. But 2017, Braun Strowman should have definitely won that championship at least once. Wyatt, under his innovative The Fiend character, should have been booked as a modern-day version of The Undertaker. Jesus Christ, it's like I wrote this article myself. But his gimmick quickly ran out of steam thanks to an incredibly underwhelming feud with Seth Rollins and a short-sighted loss to Goldberg. That should have never been a match to begin with, and if it had to happen, Goldberg should have got his ass beat. Both Wyatt and Stroman were booked so badly in recent years, however, that WWE decided to cut both stars loose despite their obvious potential to be main eventers or even world champions elsewhere. Wyatt in particular had a really strong fan base in WWE, and he will wherever other place he decides to go. In WWE, where he was once its #1 merchandise seller, ahead of the likes of Roman Reigns and Becky Lynch. How do you sell more than Roman Reigns and Becky Lynch and still don't have a job or not booked as a world champion? Stupid. Wyatt's undeniable popularity has unsurprisingly made him a hot commodity upon the pending expiration of his 90-day non-compete clause. There have been plenty of rumblings about Wyatt potentially jumping to AEW, but there are also just as many questions about how well Wyatt would fit in there, or whether AEW should even consider signing him, given the company had recently brought in a number of ex-WWE names. The widespread belief is that if Wyatt does end up in AEW, he could take over as the leader of the Dark Order, which I just said earlier in the video he should. It just fits. It fits like a glove. Unlike the one OJ had in his trial back in the day with Nicole Simpson. But it fits just like a glove that actually did fit, because you can't quit if it did. You understand what I'm saying? Which would be a natural fit for him, given the Dark Order's recent issues and how close Wyatt was to the late Brody Lee, the former Dark Leader of the Dark Order, R.I.P. Brody Lee. Impact Wrestling might be a better overall fit for Wyatt, in part because he'd be one of the few big fish in a small pond there, but Impact has lost a lot of steam in recent years, largely due to the rise of AEW. But they work together now. And I don't see that being a problem going forward. If anything, if y'all not using them as a brother company, y'all could use Impact Wrestling as a sort of a development company. They could be y'all's NXT. Stroman, despite being one of pro wrestling's best big men, doesn't seem to be a particularly great fit at AEW for the moment. At the moment, either. AEW is jam-packed with a number of ex-WWE names, and Stroman, who appears to be going under the new name of Titan. Titan. I don't know how to feel about that. Y'all let me know down in the comment section how y'all would feel about Braun Strowman being called Titan somewhere else. It kind of fits him, but I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that. Or something similar. Is limited in what he can do, both in the ring and as a character. Thus, Impact would greatly be a great place for him to reinvent himself and potentially improve his overall abilities as a performer. Scroll down. It remains to be seen, though, if WWE will have interest in either star. Given AEW's obvious momentum upswing. WWE reportedly had a case of seller's remorse not long after the company let Stroman go, and expressed interest in re-signing the behemoth as AEW continued to scoop up a plethora of ex-WWE standouts. Wyatt and/or Stroman returning to WWE seems highly unlikely given their unceremonious releases, however, and the smart money is on the ultra-talented Wyatt making his way to AEW like so many other ex-WWE stars, while Stroman looks to reinvigorate his career and Impact. Now, a lot to read, sorry it took so long. Haven't read all that. As I was stating before, I say sign Wyatt, AEW, sign Wyatt and have him take over the Dark Order. Get Adam Page the fuck out of the Dark Order. That was a bad idea. I'll come on. Yes, AEW does make mistakes, y'all. Get Adam Page out of the Dark Order. He needs to be one of your faces, right? He needs to be one of your top faces going after Kenny Omega right now in that AEW World Championship, or going after the TNT title against Miro. Because I would love to see Adam Page and Miro go after it for any amount of time. And then you put the the TNT Championship on the line on top of that, possibly. I'd love to see that. Sign Wyatt, have him take over the Dark Order, get Adam Page the fuck out of the Dark Order. Impact Wrestling, sign Braun Strowman. I say Braun Strowman should definitely go to Impact. I think he'd be better off in Impact because right now, even if he was to go to even if he was to go to AEW, where are you necessarily gonna put him? You understand what I'm saying? You got your big man and Lance Archer. Yeah, he could be a big man, but where does he fit right now? I mean, and then who is he gonna feud with? You see what I'm saying? When you can take Braun Strowman, put him right there over there in Impact Wrestling, and just let him run through the roster. And then later, in like maybe a year or something, all right, come on over here to AEW. Because just because somebody signed to AEW this year, don't mean that they're going to be there next year. You understand what I'm saying? We might start seeing, there will come a time, y'all, believe it or not, there will come a time where people from AEW are going to go over to WWE. They're going to go over to other places, ROH, New Japan. You understand what I'm saying? They're going to go over to these other places. That's just the nature of the business. But in my opinion, to end the video, I say Bray Wyatt should become the new leader of the Dark Order. It just makes all the sense in the world. Let them run through, let them feud with the Elite. You know what I'm saying? Let them beat them up, that other super stable that's just running through everybody that they come into contact with. Braun Strowman, let him go to Impact Wrestling, let him just run through the roster for the next year or two. And then let's see in about a year or two, getting him over to AEW. Because ultimately, I feel like that should happen. I just think that right now, at this point in time, it's just not the right time for Braun Strowman. Nothing against Braun Strowman, but I think he just needs a place where he can roam free. He can just be free to gallop. He ain't got nobody. You understand what I'm saying? He don't have nobody that, you know, of course he's going to have competition, but he don't have nobody that's going to, you know, he don't have too many superstars in his way from letting him shine. Because I think, honestly, that's just what Braun Strowman needs right now. He needs a place where he can be the undeniable top talent there. You understand what I'm saying? The most badass guy they got right there. He's got the mic work. I think he needs a new finisher, but he's got the mic work. He knows how to work in the ring. And you know what? I think a lighter schedule on him becoming older and slowing down a little bit, especially for a man his size, I think a lighter schedule and just running through the roster on Impact Wrestling. Running through the roster on Impact Wrestling would just be, I'd make him my champion in the first 3 months of him there. I just have him squashing everybody, running through everybody. Then he gets up to he starts getting up to the top guys that are there now and start putting on great matches, and then I let him be champion and just give him a year, year and a half of him just running through everybody. But that's just me. Y'all let me know down in the comment section what y'all think about the possible Bray Wyatt and Adam Scherr, aka or FKA Braun Strowman future signings. Do y'all think AEW should pick him up? Do y'all think they should go to Impact? What do you think they should go? Hell, do you even think they should go back to WWE? Let me know down in the comment section what you think, man. As long as you remain respectful and logical, we can have a conversation. But that's going to be the end of my video. I hope y'all enjoyed. It's been a pleasure making it for you. My name is Rage King. I am out, and I'll be back later on with more videos, more commentary, and more good content. Now, hashtag that enough said. See y'all later.